So hi there everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about white points and black points in Lightroom, how they work and how to set them. And essentially we'll be going from an image like this, with everything set to 0, to an image like that with the white and black points set. So the image I've got to start with is a picture of the local woods in fog, and because of the fog it's a very flat image, deliberately so. You can see from the histogram up on the top that there's a lot of space on the left and to the right of the main histogram, so when we're working with the image we'll see a big change to this. Now normally I would work my way down the basic panel with the exposure, the contrast, etc., and then set the whites and the blacks. But in this case we've just loaded the image up without making any adjustments, so we can look at whites and blacks in isolation. So what does setting the whites and blacks actually do? Well, it widens the tonal range of an image, so there's a full range of colour from black to white. So basically anything that's a white colour in camera is rendered white on screen, and the same for blacks. If you look at any Ansel Adams black and white photo, you'll see tonal range. It's something he's really obsessive about, and if it's good enough for him, well, it's good enough for us to have a look at. So here's the image with the black and white points set to 0, and here's the image afterwards. And as you can see, that just gives the image a lot more pop, and the histogram is extended right to the left and to the right. Let's go into a bit more detail about what white and black points actually are. Just look at the histogram as well as the image as we start to change it. So let's move to the white, and then let's start to move the slider up. And as you can see, the histogram moves across to the right hand side. Now as we hit the white point, you'll see that we get a green at the top of the histogram. And what I've done is just click that to make sure that as we make the changes that we set it. And what you'll see afterwards is that as we go up, more of the image starts to look white, and if we hit the top of that, then basically it's pretty much burnt out. If we just click the top of that, you'll see that there's a lot of red space there, and that's essentially colours that are now rendered white that weren't originally. If we bring that back down, you'll see that colour disappearing, and then when we hit the white point, you'll see that that red has disappeared, and essentially we've got the correct white point there. Let's do the same for the black. We'll move that down here. We've got to go a fair way along, as you can see with the histogram, but eventually we get to the black point, which is the green, and then as we start to go beyond that, you'll see that we're getting blue at the bottom, and that's essentially things that aren't black starting to be turned black. And again, as you get right to the end, you'll see that if we just turn that off, that virtually everything down there is black. So again, let's bring that back down, and we've got a black point just about there. Again, if you look at it then, we've got quite a wide range of tones there. So that's essentially what the white and black points are, and now we know what it is, well, how do you set them? There are 3 ways to set the white and black points. Let's just reset them. The first is to hold the Shift key down and double click on the whites, or you can double click on the slider button itself for either of them, and that just sets it straight away. It's quick and scientific. Personally, it's not the method I use. I like to either use the histograms or do it by the sliding method, which I'm going to show you now. So with the histograms, just resetting again, we move the we set the click on the histogram, move the slider along, and as we can see, eventually we get to the green there, and I'm just going to dial it back to get rid of that little bit of red that we had in the image. So that's the white point. Now with the black point, again, we can move the slider key along. We get to the black point, pass it, we get colour in the bottom, just bring it back, and just a bit further, and that's our black point. The last method is to use the Alt or the Option key and the slider button, and we move it along in the same way, but once we get to the white point, we can see we start to get colour in a black screen. Just dial that back, and similarly for the black, once we get past the black point, we start to see a bit of colour appearing in the bottom of the image. Dialing it back again, and that's our black point. So having learnt the rules of how to do it, then we now want to break them, or look at how we might break them. So in this image, we could do different things. We could choose actually to go a little bit beyond the white point, just to give that little bit more sense of the sun coming in. Let's just put a bit more in there. Now, there's a bit of red in there, but it won't make a lot of difference. Let's just clip that out. As you can see, it just adds a little bit of light into the picture. It's not a problem in terms of the way that the photo looks. Alternatively, to get that fog back into the picture again and that flatness, we might bring the white and the blacks down again. And you can see here we've got a bit more tonal range in the image, but not too much. So let's look at before and after. And I quite like that, and that's the image that I'm going to go with. So it's your choice to use the white and black points as you see fit. So in summary, the white points and the black points are about widening the tonal range, and that in turn gives your image more of a visual pop. There are a number of ways to find and set the white and the black points. That's the automatic way, using the histograms or the sliders. And artistically, it's your image, so you can do what you like with it. But now you know what the white and black points are, you can make that judgment. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you find it useful.